Summertime is usually known as a time to really look forward to really be happy about, good times, sun's out, vacation, beaches, parties. But I have had a time in my life where also summer was a very scary period to look forward to, that I knew that I was going to have a lot of time on my hands. And sometimes in life, we were going to be in a season where summertime might not be as exciting, or it can bring up a lot of difficult feelings, a lot of feeling of not knowing what to do, feeling very lost, and also bringing up so many other emotions due to the amount of time that we have on our hands, or sometimes it's because of different circumstances. But today I want to talk about summertime sadness and how we can deal with these difficult times in summer. So let's talk about it. So a lot of the times there's just so much pressure from outside. Usually we look forward to summer. Summer seems like the most exciting time of the year, and feeling this pressure to have a good time can sometimes also add on to the feelings of anxiety or depression or loneliness, or just feeling like we're not doing good enough and feeling like we're not having a good time enough in summer. I remember having a very hard time in summer 2 years ago. I had a very fun summer, but there were just a lot of feelings coming up that were very difficult, and I was just very sad overall. And that was such a difficult summertime to deal with that the year afterwards, I was really dreading the summertime. Like, I was so afraid that I was going to be sad all the time and that I was going to have so much time on my hand to think about things. And, sometimes we're even in a period in life where we're not really in a place where we have a lot of friends, or we feel ready to go outside a lot, or sometimes we don't have the financial backings to do the things that we want to do. Sometimes we're going through very hard times, and summertime can be a very dreadful time when we're already going through a hard time. So this is what I want to talk about today, because I don't really see a lot of people talking about this, but it's something that has really hit me like a truck last year, and now this year I'm finally trusting myself more, and also seeing that I've learned new things to apply in summertime, because I still feel like I'm still like in the same place physically as last year. I don't really have much to do. I'm even working less than I was last year. I don't have a lot of financial freedom. I don't have a lot of things to do. I don't have many responsibilities. So having this much free time on your hand, it can sometimes be very, scary to feel like, am I going to fall into a depressive rut again? Am I going to just dwell and stay in bed all day, especially when the weather is not exactly what you would have hoped it to? And when a lot of people are also out of this country. So even though we usually have a lot of plans for summertime never really turns out to be exactly what we imagined it. I do realize that we do talk a lot about seasonal depression, and a lot of people actually deal with seasonal depression all over the world. And I think for most people, I've read that most people that live around the equator, I don't know, what is it called? Equator. So for most people that live around the equator, they actually gonna sometimes experience more seasonal depression around the summertime, which I didn't really know. But for me, I only talk about this because I really consciously went through it last year. I used to deal a lot of the times with seasonal depression in winter, and I know that we talked about that very often. Most people are also aware of what that is, but I don't really hear a lot of people talking about seasonal depression in summer. I think that also that pressure from outside of summer being such a good time can also actually add on to the pressure of feeling like you're supposed to be doing 1,000 things and having a good time, and also seeing a lot of people going on vacation, doing fun things, traveling, starting new things, or people thriving in their careers can also add on to that feeling of isolation and feeling like an outsider, and feeling like there's not enough going on in your life, especially when we are viewing other people's vacations and we're able to just be so present and watch each other online. So our online presence definitely also adds on, I believe, to our experience of summer and how it can impact our mental health. One of the reasons that you might deal with summertime sadness might be because you have a lot of time on your hands. And at some point, I know life will not forever be like this. So maybe you might be a student, or maybe you just don't have a job for now, or maybe you have a job that allows you also to have the whole summertime free. And in theory, it sounds really good. But I've also realized that a lot of the times work is what keeps me sane. I can really complain about having to go to work, but having a routine is actually very good for your mental health, in my experience at least. And so this shift in our routine, it can really be shocking for our body, and we have to kind of re-regulate our body and our mind. And sometimes being left with so much free time, we just don't know what to do with ourselves. We start to sleep in more. Also, the days are longer, the nights are shorter, so there's so much time in a day. And sometimes it can really feel like the days are lasting forever and everything is going so slow. This can be really difficult to deal with. This can really make a lot of space to just think, to dwell in our thoughts. If you already are someone that deals with a lot of negative thoughts, or if you're already in a very fragile period of your life, or something very negative just happened, something broke your heart, or you just went through something very difficult, this can be a very difficult time to be with. So I completely understand that it's not always something fun. And usually we try to, at least I also noticed myself doing this back in the time, try to just keep busy as much as possible, try to escape the pain, escape the feelings, or party it away, or just trying to be a busy bee. But this can really come back later and drain you even more. I talk about this a lot in other videos, and if you're not new in this channel, you know that I really don't believe in running away from our feelings. And even though it's very difficult to go through them sometimes, this is a very good time for you to just allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to feel your feelings, because I do think that summertime is a time where we can take things more slow, so you have less responsibilities. So cut yourself some slack, and also allow yourself to just do less. Allow yourself sometimes to be in a season where things aren't really good. I know it really sucks, but allowing yourself to accept that will also help you to move on easier in the future, because it feels like summer is such a big reset before things take back on in September and October, and change starts to blow into our life, which is natural with the change in seasons as well that we have in October. So if we are kind of in this phase in summer where we constantly escape our feelings, once the change is going to be forced into our lives, it might all come crashing down and get way worse in autumn. So really, even though sometimes it's hard, sometimes you really got to take the hard path and do what's difficult right now, and just allow yourself to feel your feelings and know that this also will pass. It's not easy, but just a reminder. I know maybe this might not help, but this is something I tried that really helped for me to remember when I was really going through a hard time in summer. And this was also because I just had a lot of free time and not so much responsibilities. The time and the space you're at right now in life is a luxury. You might not be able to realize it right now, but there will be a time in your life when you will miss this summertime, when you will miss the times that the summers still look the way they do right now. Even though you're not feeling good right now, this might be the last summer your summer looks like this. So much changes in life, and especially as we grow older, we get more responsibilities. There's not going to be that much free time. Maybe sometimes there will be, but for a long time there might not. So I know it's sometimes very painful to have so much free time, but remember, it's also a luxury. It really is. So enjoy while you can, and try to see the best in it if you can. But I know it can be very difficult sometimes. I also feel like summer is a very strange and a very transformative, magical time. I was thinking about this, and especially you might feel it now. Summer is such a reflection of winter, but just the other way around. There's more sun, but everything we do, it's like we're also more isolated from people in a way. You would say everyone is outside, but at the end of the day, in summer, everyone has their own plans, everyone has their own agenda, and I don't really see people as much in summer, just like I don't in winter, because we're just all planning our own lives, and we usually see each other again in the seasons around spring and autumn, and not really in winter and summer. But I feel like summer is also a very transformative time spiritually, because it's like we come at the half of the year. We just had the summer solstice, and always around these solstice times when we have like the first of the year or the seventh of the year, when we get at these beginning and midpoints of the year, it's like a very important time for transformation and for growth. So this is a point where it's really going to allow us to look back at what we have already acquired in this past 6 months, look back at who you have become, look back at the things you've already achieved. So really a time for reflection, internal reflection. And I know that can be very heavy, but taking this time to really take a pause and to look at who we are, and also preparing for the other half of the year, and still like reassessing where we want to go, the things that we still want to work on, the things that maybe we want to do differently, maybe we want to let go. It can be very beneficial because we always have a new time, we always have a new opportunity to plant new seeds and to start over again. But sometimes that requires also taking a time to slow down, to look inward and to see what is already working and what is not working and how we feel about things in our lives. So I think I also talked about this in one of my last videos, where I think it's really important to set out this time and this space in our life where we can have these check-in points with ourselves to really think about who we want to be, where we want to go, what's working and what's not, because so much can change in such a short period of time. And that's why sometimes when we get in these periods where life gets really slow and we have the space and the time to feel our emotions, which maybe in other seasons of the year we're not really aware of, because life is going so fast and we're moving around so quickly and we have so many responsibilities and just places to be. So this time and the space that we have in summer and also in winter, I know if you live in the southern hemisphere, this is kind of winter for you right now. So take this message as it resonates, and maybe you feel the same way, but it's just called winter right now. This is really a time where a lot of emotions are going to come up for you, and take this as an opportunity to really accept them, to let them come up, because only by feeling your emotions will you be able to go through them, to let them pass and make space for new things in your life to come in. And I really know, like, this is all, it sounds really beautiful in word, and believe me, 2 months can be so long. 2 months of vacation. I really talked about this in one of my videos actually that I made, Thus Your Liberation. It was a whole summer vlog, and that was one of the hardest summers for me that I went through. And the funny thing about it was that it was one of the best summers I've experienced with the things, that activities I was doing. I was traveling so much and I was seeing so much family, I was seeing so much friends, but at the same time I was so sad. And I felt really guilty about feeling sad because all these good things were happening and I was having a good time. But, our feelings are our feelings. It's not something that we can control. It's not something that we can change. And I also want you to understand that even though we see people having a good time, we see posts of people on vacation, we see people at festivals, we see people traveling all around the world, it can really make us feel like everyone is having a good time and everyone's life is so perfect. But that is just what we show on the outside. Everyone is still going through their own struggles. And I think that in summertime, we can mask it with beautiful pictures online. So it can be very deceiving, sometimes more often than the rest of the year, which can also create more FOMO, like a lot of fear of missing out, and all that external pressure adding on to you can sometimes even cause more depression. So something that I also do in summer is really disconnect a bit more from my phone and really allow to live every single day more in the present, and look what I can do and look at the little things I can enjoy in my everyday life. So right now I'm still very free. I don't really have a lot of responsibilities, but things that help me really in summertime right now that I'm doing to help me just enjoy life is sleep a lot. You don't really have a lot of times in the year where you're just free to sleep as early as you want, sleep as late as you want. No one is waiting for me. No one is requiring me to be anywhere. Also, you're not required to go outside to be outside, to go out. Sometimes staying in and sleeping is the best decision that you can ever make. Take it. There's one thing I never regret, and that's a good night's sleep. I've regretted going out. Yeah, but sleeping well, no, not so much. Also, focus on the things that you can do. Focus on the routine that you can implement. It's not that because it's summer and we have the freedom, sometimes we want to just, let go and totally go with the flow, which is also all right to do. But if you are prone to feeling depressed, or if you are prone to really, get lost and like overthink and just lose complete control over your life, what really helped for me, and I just want to also say I'm not a doctor, so if you actually deal with depression, go seek out help, seek out a therapy. Maybe you can talk with someone. It's always good to also seek help. But if you're more like me, where I if you're more like me, or if you just want to hear my advice, I would definitely try to implement a routine as well. Try out new things, work out on a daily basis, or go for walks. Really get back into nature. It's so grounding and it really helps you to get out of your head, read some books, or try to focus on things you want to learn, get new interest, visit some places in the country you haven't been before, meet up with some friends you haven't seen in a long time, learn to cook, learn to bake. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm really enjoying it, and reading some new types of fiction or nonfiction. Those little things that you just do that you always want to do during the year, but you usually don't have a lot of time for it. Try to take the time to do them now. Don't plan a lot in your agenda. Just choose one thing for the day and allow the rest of the day to flow and see wherever it brings you. Watch a new series. This is what summer for, the freedom to just do nothing, or to do just enough or just a little, but it's all about the routine and knowing that you can get up and do something to get out of your head. Lastly, something that I also dealt with in summer was there was this period of time, and I don't know what place you're at in your journey, but if you also went through, or you're still going through, a very intense healing period in your time, you might be very isolated from a lot of people. You might not really feel ready to talk to people, or you're still kind of trying to figure out who your real friends are, or you have had to let go of a lot of people, or sometimes we're in phases where we just don't really have anyone, and that can also be very difficult when you want to do things, when you want to go outside, but you feel like you're constantly alone and you feel that loneliness. It's eaten up at you. I don't want to say like just learn to love yourself and just learn to spend time with yourself, or this is a time for you to get to know yourself, because I don't want to like not acknowledge how difficult and painful it can be to feel alone. And that's valid, and you don't have to constantly learn to be alone to be okay. It's okay to want friends. It's okay to want people to do fun things with, and you truly deserve that as well. And I think if you truly want something, and if you set that intention, things are going to happen at the right time. But if that is not the space where you're at right now, also allow the journey. Know that this is exactly where you need to be right now, and there's a reason that things are not a certain way right now. That doesn't mean it's not going to be that way, maybe next summer or anytime soon. Usually when we yearn for something so badly, that's when it's about to get into our life. But sometimes some things have to get tweaked. Sometimes there's still some things happening internally, and this period of time, like I just said prior, is such an intense time of transformation. So really also pay attention to your dreams. You can do a lot of journaling work in summer. It's going to be so transformational. I truly believe that. I've always felt like me in June and me in September are two complete different people, and you are really attracting some new blessings. And I really hope that those words resonate with you, and I really hope that you also allow your feelings to come up. Be honest about what you feel, be honest about what you need, and maybe you need it this time to also acknowledge how deep some things are. It's very easy to sometimes neglect certain feelings or just push them aside, but this is the time to really come face to face with your needs, your deepest desires, the things that still ache your heart, and tell yourself what you truly need, and ask God, ask the universe what you want, and trust that the timing will be right and you will be led on the path where you will receive exactly what is for you, but in the best possible way. I really hope that message kind of helped. I know it's very difficult, and I am now in a place where I'm very good at coping with the summer time, and I feel really good this summer. And I'm not gonna lie, I was afraid of summer still like 4 months ago, because 4 months ago I was not feeling as good as I am today. But things can change really fast. You will get the peace and the security within yourself that you need. So it's really, you know what kind of bothers me? It's like, probably if I would have watched a video like this one 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have believed it. I probably would have had a hard time believing it and having just so much questions, so much doubt, and that's completely okay. But try to let go of understanding what is happening in your life. Try to let go of constantly focusing on everything that's going wrong right now. A lot of the times when things are feeling so heavy and when we are feeling lost and sad, it's also because we are focusing too much on our thoughts, paying too much attention on our mind, and trying to figure things out. Maybe we're trying to think our way out of our feelings. That's also a lot of the times what happened when we have a lot of time in our hands, when we had a lot of space to not really focus on other responsibilities. So what really helps me, and this is also not something that is very easy to do, so be very gracious with yourself if it takes time to practice, but really try to ground yourself, really try to stay in the present moment. Don't get too much caught up in too much content, in self-help, in books about getting better. Sometimes we just have to allow ourselves to live and make ourselves feel like we're good enough in the moment, even though it's not a place where we want to be, even though we don't feel good in this place. This is temporarily, and your emotions are valid, and this time will pass. But if you're constantly tripping about, why am I in this place? Why am I feeling sad? I'm doing something wrong. I'm supposed to be happy right now. No, you're not always supposed to be happy. That's completely normal. But the more you fight yourself, the more you try to push those feelings away, the more you try to tell yourself that you should be different than you are right now, the more you're going to feel frustrated, and the more difficult it's going to be to experience the present moment and to actually step out of those difficult emotions you are experiencing right now. I really hope that message helped. I really hope you can allow yourself to just be in the present moment this summer. Allow life to just happen. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to change in a very short amount of time. Everything will happen when it's supposed to. Trust that you are exactly where you are supposed to be right now, and that everything is happening in divine timing. And when the season change, so will you, and things do get better. I hope you liked that message. I hope it really resonated. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe. There's more where this came from. Oh, by the way, we reached 1K. We reached 1,000 subscribers right before the deadline I have set. That is insane. I want to thank every single one of you that's new to my channel, that has been supporting my channel, that has liked my videos, subscribed, and commented. I appreciate you so much. Really. This means so much to me, and you are lighting up my fire. You are inspiring me to continue and make me feel like everything was not in vain and that the future is kind of bright. So thank you. I will see you in the next video, and for now, take care. Allow yourself to be. You're so loved. Bye.